The truth nobody will say out loud: the AI sorting resumes may be trained to filter out people who look like you, not your skills, not your wins, you. And here's the part that should make the hair on your neck stand up. No human ever sees it happen. Let me paint the picture. You spend a Saturday on your resume. You tighten the bullets, you quantify the wins, you hit submit. And somewhere in a server farm in a state you've never been to, a piece of software reads your entire career in 4/10 of a second and decides you are a no. You think you got beat by a better candidate? A lot of times, you never made it into the room where the candidates exist. Here's the AARP number for 2026. Roughly 64% of workers over 50 say they've seen or experienced age discrimination at work. 64%. That's not a fringe complaint, that's the majority report. Now, old school discrimination was a person with a bias. Ugly, but at least you could see it across the table. Today's version wears a lab coat. It calls itself efficiency, and it doesn't need to hate you to hurt you. Here's how the machine actually does it. These systems get trained on a company's own hiring history. So if a company spent 20 years hiring 28-year-olds, the model learns one thing with total confidence: 28-year-olds are good fits. Then it goes hunting for anything that smells like youth and quietly buries everything that doesn't. What smells like your age to a machine: your graduation year, an employment gap, the words you reach for: seasoned, extensive, proven track record, sometimes even your email domain, AOL, Hotmail. Yeah, it clocks that too. You didn't get screened out for being unqualified, you got screened out for being legible. And the cruelest part: usually there's no human in the loop to overrule it. Nobody leans back and says, wait, this person ran a $40 million brand. Let's take a look. The computer says no, and the conversation's over before it even started. Let me make it real. I coached a marketer, I'll call her Dana, 23 years in the brand, the kind of operator who turned a dying regional grocery chain into a cult favorite. And she's been out of work 8 months. 200 applications, 11 replies. She was sitting across from me, convinced she'd lost a step. So we ran an experiment. We took her exact resume, changed nothing about the substance, and stripped out 2 things: the graduation date and the phrase 3 decades of experience. Same person, same wins, same brain. 3 weeks later, 4 interviews. Nothing about Dana changed. The only change that changed was that the machine was allowed to see. That's not a confidence problem. That's a visibility problem. And visibility, you can engineer. Now, if I stopped right there, this would be just another doom video. And your feed probably has plenty of those. So let's flip the lights on a bit. There's a story the industry tells about you. You know, the out-of-touch veteran can't find the camera on the Zoom, thinks ChatGPT is a Pokemon. Okay, boomer, roll the laugh track. Here's the data that blows that story to pieces. Over the last 5 years, workers over 50 added AI skills to their LinkedIn profiles about 25% faster than younger workers, nearly double the rate. The people the algorithm assumes are dinosaurs are the ones adapting the fastest. So the stereotype isn't just unfair, it's factually, measurably, easy for me to say, wrong. Which means, and I need you to actually hear this, every time you apologize for your experience, every time you shrink it, and every time you play down the gray, you are performing a stereotype the numbers already disproved. Stop auditioning for a role that you were never cast in. You are not behind, you're being missorted. Completely different problem. And missorting that, you can fight. So let's get tactical. 3 truths, 3 moves today. Tactical truth number 1, stop handing the machine the evidence. You are leaving fingerprints all over your resume that have nothing to do with whether you can do the job. Let's wipe them. Start with the graduation years. Take them off. The degree matters. The date you earned it is nobody's business, and the algorithm that can tell. So it's gone. Next, your experience section does not need to be a museum tour back to 1994. Lead with the last 10, maybe 15 years. The rest can live in one tidy line if it lives even at all on your resume. And here's the move most people miss. Lead with recent AI-driven results, not responsible for, not managed outcomes. Used AI to cut campaign production time by 60%. Built a generative content workflow that tripled output. Numbers, recency, tools. You're not hiding your age, you're refusing to make it the headline. That's a big difference. Quick gut check. Pull up your resume right now and tell me in the comments, is the first thing a recruiter sees a recent win or a date? Be honest. Tactical truth number 2. If your AI skills only live on your resume, they don't exist. Think about it. The resume is the one document that goes straight into the black box. It's the warehouse at the end of Indiana Jones, shoved into an infinite stack, never seen by a human being again. You cannot win the game inside the machine that's rigged against you. So play a different game. Build proof the algorithm can't vary out in the open where humans actually look. Ship public evidence. Post the LinkedIn breakdown of your campaign you rebuilt with AI. Record a 5-minute demo of your workflow. Start the scrappy little YouTube channel like this one. Write the newsletter. And I don't care if your first video gets 11 views, and many of mine have just that, and the 3 of them are your spouse. Because when a hiring manager Googles you, and they will, and they find a body of work that screams, this person is fluent, the stereotype dies on contact. You stop being a date on a page and start being a person with receipts. Evidence beats assumptions every single time. So go make some. Tactical truth number 3, and this is the one with 30 years behind it. Build the relationship moat. Here's something the job board industrial complex would rather you never internalize. The best jobs were never really filled through the front door. A warm intro doesn't get screened. A referral never gets its graduation year scanned. When someone a company trusts says, you need to talk to this person, the algorithm isn't even in the room. You routed around it completely differently. And this is your structural advantage. The 28-year-old has a network 3 years deep. You've got one 3 decades deep. Old clients, former teammates, vendors. The kid you mentioned who's now a VP somewhere, that's not nostalgia, that's infrastructure. So use it. This week, connect with 5 people and not, hey, got any jobs? That's amateur hour. Lead with value. Saw what you were building. Here's a thought that might help. Be useful first. The opportunities will follow the trust. The machine screens applicants. It cannot screen relationships. Live on the side of the wall it cannot reach. So here's where we land. You are not too old. You are not out of touch. You are being missorted by a system optimizing for the wrong thing. And now you know exactly how to fight it. Strip the proxies, show the proof, build the moat. The world's changing fast, and most people are still playing by the rules that you already broke. You're not most people, not anymore. Save this, then send it to a marketer over 50 who needs it. Same time next Thursday.